What's going on, everyone? Episode 22 of the Millennial Real Talk podcast. Today, we're off to a bad start. We don't have, the microphone's just not working today, the setup. So we're gonna be using this little tiny mic right here, and hopefully it all sounds good for everyone watching. Whoever does watch, thank you for watching. Hit subscribe at the bottom. What's going on, Matt? How was your week? Any real estate stuff happen this past week?
Yeah, I had a deal fall apart. Supposed to hit the closing table in next week or whatever, and fell apart on a multifamily. I think originally they told us, so we part of the deal was just touring that second unit, making sure it was in good shape and similar layout and all that, and they told us it was. We went up there and it really wasn't. So I guess to real estate agents out there, and even if you're buying a home and you have a contingency where maybe you because I think they're doing a lot of that. I don't know if you're seeing that, but on multifamilies they want us to submit an offer and then they'll show the second unit. I guess it makes sense because they don't want to interrupt tenants, stuff like that. They don't want to interrupt tenants for people that aren't really serious about buying the house. So I get it, but at the same time, I felt like they weren't really upfront as far as, condition of the unit, stuff like that. So, that second unit, I keep telling you this, but it was a disaster. I mean, it was not the same layout. It was in pretty bad shape. I mean, they're going to have to get rid of that tenant, and someone with, little deeper pockets that can remodel that are going to need to get in there. So, that's about what I had. New client, one of Justin's clients referrals. So, and
Justin.
Yeah, Justin Conrad.
He sent you this guy?
Yeah, I actually went to high school. Shout out to Ryan Paul. We actually went to high school together too. He knows Justin.
Yeah.
So got a new client there. I started shopping with him.
Did he reach out to you first or Justin?
He reached out to me first. He had already talked with Justin though, so started shopping with him. Been looking at a bunch of single families. They're all nice to me, but it doesn't matter really what I think. But yeah, no. So it's going pretty good. I guess aside from the deal falling apart, but just got to keep at it, and we got a few more next weekend, so we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, to add to that stuff. So I'm going to be having a multifamily hit the market in 2 weeks, and I prepped the seller. Hey, we're going to need access to these units to get top dollar for your house.
Yeah.
As in what you were saying, I know some people go about saying, hey, unit 1, tenant's cool, he'll let you in, but unit 2 and 3, they're a little less open to letting you in. So, we're going to show unit 1 in the basement and the exterior, and if you place an offer and it gets accepted, then you can see the other units. So as a buyer, you're going to lose buyers that way, because a lot of buyers are going to say, they're just not going to understand placing an offer on a house that they can't see. And then when you do place the offer and you realize they don't like it, then it's just a waste of time. It really is. It just wastes the seller's time and everything. Really. So, but yeah, if you're out there shopping for multifamilies home, that's not uncommon to see one unit, not the other one, and and you only get to see those units when your offer gets accepted. Yeah. But did you want to add to that? Or?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I don't know. I haven't had a ton of multifamily listings, so I guess I can't say I would. I don't want to say there's a perfect way to do it, but you gotta just. I feel like you gotta just get. You gotta be clear to your tenants and stuff about. Getting into the unit. You're gonna let them know in advance, obviously, but and I hate to because I feel like sometimes some of the sellers and the agents, if you give them notice and all of a sudden they can't open the door. I mean, I get respecting people's privacy, but at some point it's I hate to say it, but it's not their home. So you gave them notice. You told them what it's going to be. If you show up and they don't want to open the door, you're not really asking at this point. I mean, it's just, you gave notice, that's it. I mean, you just got to show it. So I don't know. It's tough. I get it. Obviously in an ideal world, single families are obviously easier because you just go in and, there's only one person to deal with. But But yeah, I don't know, for agents out there, if you can, it'd really make a better effort to like, try to make both units available. It's easier for you too. I mean, it's easier for everyone. So, I don't know. That would just be my 2 cents on that, or at least how I think I would do it. Again, I haven't had a ton of multifamily listings, but just something to think about.
Yep. So as it sounds, I wanted to touch on the thought of like sellers, real estate agents, buyers, real estate agents. I know a lot of people just get confused on, wait, a seller, there's 2 agents involved. I want to see this house. Why do I need you? If I can just contact the name on the sign, I can get to see the property. So in real estate in Rhode Island, the buyer has a right to a realtor to represent them, and the seller has the rights to representation on their half. Kind of like, think of it as attorneys. If you're suing someone, you have an attorney, and if you're the other side has an attorney. Same thing here. So when you're going to buy a house, you want to have someone working with you. And of course, I had dealing with this actually today. Client of mine reached out, wanted to see buy a house. He goes, I actually have an appointment already. I'm like, really? How'd you get the appointment? Oh, I requested on Zillow. So Zillow's what happens there is, of course, you can look on Zillow and you're going to see request more information. You can click the button. It does do something. Or request a tour, and it does get you connected with someone. But what it's doing is Zillow offers real estate agents in Rhode Island advertising. So if I pay Zillow $1,000 a month, I'm going to pay that money per month to capture anyone that clicks or schedule a tour in the zip code of 02864. So if the house you like is in 02864 and you click request more info, that realtor paying to be on Zillow will get you to get your call. And you're calling a random realtor in Rhode Island paying for their business. So keep that in mind. If you have an agent you want to work with that family, friends, or you just want to know them before you meet them and get to trust them, reach out to a couple of real estate agents and use them as your point of contact. Have you ever run into that situation?
Yeah, I had that happen too. Yeah, where I show up and he's like, oh, there was another agent there too, and we're both like,
that happened to me too.
Yeah, so you're kind of like, what do you? Oh, I think also too, actually, just to kind of veer off a little there is, you can look on Zillow when you're shopping for houses, but most agents, or all of them, should be setting you up on a home search where you get, the homes that fit your criteria right to your email. Just stick with the ones from the portal that come right to your email. If you start shopping, if you're really looking on Zillow, Realtor.com, some of these houses aren't even available. They're already pending, under contract. They're off. I've had some clients send me them that are off market. So, just to kind of bridge off into that, like, if you're just on Zillow all the time, like, you're going to, end up with a different agent every other week, right, and looking at a house that's not even available. So it can get kind of messy. You're kind of wasting your own time too, so I think those are some good points.
Yeah, just to add to that a little more too. So every real estate agent in Rhode Island, if they get a seller wanting to sell their home, they go to a place called MLS. It's kind of like our portal, and they put all the information and put the house for sale inside of this portal. Now, Zillow, Trulia, Redfin, all these real estate websites refresh that portal every 10 minutes, 5 minutes, seconds, who knows. And when the new property goes into that portal, they post it on their website. So Zillow and all these sites are getting the information from our realtor portal. So when we set you up on a home search, it's coming from our portal. So it's very accurate, and sometimes more accurate than Zillow. So again, like you said, people reach out with an address. It says active on Zillow, but on our portal it says pending. I guarantee I'm 100% positive to say that our portal is more accurate than Zillow. So if this is pending on our end, it's pending. And someone asked me today, what does pending mean? What pending really means is the property is under agreement. It's pending sale. The buyer's just getting financing approved, or maybe finishing up the home inspection. It's already under contract. We can't see it. It's pending. It's going to be closed soon. To add to that also, so if you lose out on an offer and you're like, man, I wonder what that offer was that we lost to, you won't find out until the closing day, and it's public information. So, 45 days or so go by. That's usually when the closing day will happen from the offer getting accepted. Then you'll see Zillow update with the price that it sold for, and then you'll get to know a little bit more info on that.
Yeah, I think too, actually, so the agent they're obviously not going to tell you what it's sold for and all the contingencies and all that. But something I started doing too a little while ago, I think it helps buyers, at least in my experience. I'll ask, were we close? How, and usually a listing agent, they'll give you something. I mean, they'll tell you if there's a house that's $350 and let's say we offered $360. I actually just had this happen recently. And, it was a really hot house, a lot of people there, big open house, and, I'll say, hey, how close were we? And this will give an idea. It also will help my buyer as well, because that way he knows, I have a new client, he'll understand kind of where he is on homes he likes. And, she's saying, way off. We had multiple offers way over that. So, I mean, it kind of helps to ask, too. I'll still, they're not going to give you the number, obviously. But, I think it helps buyers kind of understand, especially newer ones, because sometimes they don't know the market like we do. So, yeah, I think it's good to ask. Even, contingencies, like I said, they're not going to specify, but, they might, for example, the one that just happened recently, she said, you're way off in price and there were a lot of better contingencies. So it was a combination of both. So then, the buyers could start to realize, okay, and every house is different, but, I think it's just good to, get a gauge on it, too. It also helps, too, so your buyer doesn't think you're, you're just making stuff up. You know what I mean? I don't know. I feel like sometimes it's with real estate agents sometimes get a bad rep. So, yeah.
Yeah, agreed with that. And so, when you place an offer, there's a lot of components to it. I would say 80% is the offer price, and then it comes down to really it's an offer price, a deposit you're agreed to put down. Are you doing a home inspection? Are you getting financing? And do you need the property to appraise? Those are the components there to really get into the home inspection stuff. Because, man, in this competitive market, you have to be innovative, maybe get a little fancy with it. If you waive your home inspection, I'm pretty confident you can get the property at a better price than if you have the home inspection, to say that. Now, really put yourself in the seller's shoes.
Yeah, this is something I just really want. That's what I've been doing with buyers too. Is if you're selling your house, what do you want the buyer? Do you want them coming in and doing? Now, we're not saying don't do the home inspection, obviously, but if you're selling your house, the buyer comes in, he makes an offer, the price is good, and he's doing a home inspection, and then there's someone else that's not. Which do you prefer? Someone coming in and picking apart the house, or do you prefer? You know what I mean? So you really want to be in the seller's shoes too, to try to figure out the best on what you can handle, and just try to be in their shoes too. But without, you don't want to hurt yourself either, but you just want to put yourself in their shoes. So sorry.
Yeah. So it's a seller's market. All right. So you have to put yourself in the seller's shoes, because they have this say. They're getting a bunch of offers. You get one offer. It's $400,000, $2,000 deposit. They want to have a home inspection done, so they're going to have the home inspection and rip apart the property, look through it from top to bottom. If they see anything they don't like, they can back out of the contract, and you're stuck from ground day one again, or you're stuck fixing it or giving price reductions. That's $400,000, right? 2, it's $380,000, no home inspection, as is, gonna proceed no matter what you say. I'm putting $10,000 down. Which offer would you go for? There's no right or wrong answer. Just think of it. You're in a seller's shoes. Now, what typically happens is when someone has a home inspection, I've never, ever, ever had a buyer not ask for something or a price reduction after it. Ever. So if the buyer comes in and if you're a seller out there and you see a buyer coming into your house to have a home inspection, they're asking for a $5,000 to $10,000 price reduction, no matter what. Yeah. I've never seen it not happen.
It's completely standard. Yeah. And 5 to 10 is just we know we're going to get. I mean, if you're a halfway decent agent, you should be able to get a 5 to 10 on any home inspection report. Maybe besides a brand new build, but so yeah, you're looking at 5 to 10 off the rip. Then if there's like, you know, some real issues going on, depending on the roof, I don't know, who knows. But now you're talking about you could easily end up below 380. You know, the buyer's asking for all kinds of stuff, and you could. I've seen it. We've seen it before, and you know, that doesn't mean the seller has to go for it, but you know, and sometimes they won't. If it's too much, they're just gonna, you know what I mean? So you gotta kind of like,
and so let's say you accept an offer on a Monday. All right, so the buyer has 10 days, weekends, and holidays don't count. So offer accepted on a Monday, you stop showing the home, it goes pending online. 7 days go by, it's the next following Monday, the buyers have a home inspection. They do the home inspection and they're not happy with it. So they ask for some repairs, and you guys are kind of not sure what to do. So 10 days is almost up. The buyers ask for a 5-day inspection extension, and you do it. So now it's been off the market for 15 days. The buyers and you guys just can't come to an agreement. The property has to go back on the market. So now the seller's stuck doing open houses again. And every buyer coming in that door, the first question is, why did the property come back on the market? There must be something wrong with this house. So now you have a cloud over your house. You now lost out on 2 weeks of time when you probably already started boxing up, and you're frustrated. You probably are kicking yourself thinking, I should have just went with that offer that did no home inspection. Yeah, it was $15,000 less, but we would have been going forward. So again,
and that offer too now is not. You might want to go back to that offer, and they're going to be like, "Well, how'd the home inspection go? We'll give you now maybe $10,000 less than we were before," because they don't want to. They're like, "Well, what's wrong with it? They didn't like it, and they inspected, so now they're going to know." I mean, you have to disclose anyway, and they're just gonna. That's what I would do with my, you know, I tell my buyers, like, you know, it'd be up to them, but I would, you know, I'd probably come in a little lower and say, you know, we were willing to do this, but now we're not, because we know, you know, what's wrong with it, and they got to disclose it. Now you're getting less, so it's a big deal. I mean, you know, but we're not saying not to waive the home inspection at all. I mean, you got to feel comfortable. It depends on I mean, there are some houses, like even before we just bought MultiFamily's investments, but there were some, and I did waive it on mine, but there were some I was walking through I wouldn't have done it on. So I mean, it depends. I mean, you got to just look at the house. I think some important things too, I don't know what you think on this too, but you know, when you're in the house, like really look at things. Turn the heat on, turn the water on. Is the hot water, like, you can check some of the stuff. Obviously, not a home inspector, you can't get everything, but you know, there's some pretty basic things, like it's like if you turn the sink on, the hot water's not working, we got an issue. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I've had that happen in a couple houses. So I mean, you know, there are things you can look out for just on your own as common sense. You know, again, not everything, but you know, there's definitely stuff to look for.
Yeah, and like I started out saying, I said you have to be innovative and get fancy with it. And what I mean by that is you can still have that home inspection. But what I did with clients, offer got accepted this week, competing against other offers, and some waived the home inspection. You're saying, I as the buyer want to do a home inspection. I'm waiving my rights to terminate the agreement. I have to proceed. I'm not going to back out. I'm not going to ask for any repairs. I have to, or I'll lose my deposit. However, the only way I can back out of the contract is if an item is found in the inspection report that needs repairs greater than $5,000, for example. So that reassures the seller more, man, this buyer is pretty serious. He's going to waive his rights to terminate. He's moving forward. He's not going to pick me apart on little things. But hey, I don't blame him. He's a first-time home buyer. If something needs repairs that's $5,000 or more and he wants it fixed, I don't blame him. So the sellers can be like, I'm confident my home has nothing to be fixing here worth $5,000. The heat's great. I just put a new roof on. The windows are good. Yeah, let's roll with it. It's kind of like they're waiving the home inspection because I'm not going to have to do anything. There's nothing that's going to come up over $5,000, so it's going to sail through, and they're going to have to proceed.
Yeah, and you can do a different amount too, like 5. I think 5's a good number too. You could even do 2 or 3, or you know what I mean. It depends on what you feel comfortable. I mean, I think 5's a good number. I've had some clients do 3 on that have gotten So it's kind of like, because at the end of the day, you're going to get into the house. Unless you're getting a brand new build, there's going to be something that you have to fix. You know what I mean? Probably. The goal is to not have it be the boiler or the roof for $8,000-10,000. I would say that would be the goal. But if you have a $2,000 expense, kind of comes with owning a house. I would say $2,500. I mean, it's not great, but it's, if that was the extra cost to get in the house, let's say, would you pay, like, if you knew before you were going to have a $2,500 expense and to get into the house, would you do it or lose the house? I think most people would be like, I'd go for it. I mean, that's how I feel anyway. So, you're not going to protect yourself against everything, but yeah, I think that's definitely, getting creative with the offer, not necessarily waiving the home inspection, but getting creative with it is definitely a good strategy.
Yeah, and what's important with that is you're saying you're waiving your rights to terminate and get your deposit back. Because again, put yourself in the seller's shoes. The way the Rhode Island purchase and sales agreement is written up, if you accept an offer as a seller, you really shouldn't expect the closing to happen, especially the first 2 weeks during the home inspection period. Because literally the buyers can have a home inspection and use the home inspection as backing out because they got cold feet, they found something else they liked, or whatever it is. They can terminate the agreement for anything. They just have to have the home inspection, and they can say, man, the light bulb didn't work in the kitchen. My buyers want to back out and get their deposit back. Now the seller's like, oh, come on, that's baloney. They got cold feet. Someone told them it's a bad buy. They saw something else they liked. But I have to give them the deposit, and then I have to go back to square one. So having a home inspection, period, it's so easy to get out of in Rhode Island. It's so easy to just say, I want my deposit back. I'm looking for something else. And you use the home inspection as just an excuse. So again, as a seller out there, they don't want people backing out on their home. Let's say you're moving to Florida. You got a new job. You're making arrangements, and all of a sudden you're 2 weeks into it. You're having things planned. You got your flights and all that going, and now it's back day one because they didn't like the kitchen sink was leaking. Come on. So we really have to be creative and show more seriousness in this kind of market and get creative. Anything to add to that home inspection stuff?
Not really. I just know, I guess just, talking on contingencies too, like, there, I don't think you mentioned, but just, if you, let's say you're like upgrading your house or something, if another contingency I just thought of too was, like if you're moving, if your house is like pending a sale, so let's say you already own a house and you're looking to upgrade, another, like, versus if you're just coming from living at home, obviously it's a lot better because now the seller has to deal with making sure that your home, for you to buy the new house, you have to, this one has to go through, and then that's another home inspection that has to go through and all that. So it's kind of like, obviously you can't help that, but you do have, it's a small thing, but it's definitely a bigger advantage. If you're coming from home, if you're a first time home buyer, it does help. If you're coming from a month to month lease or living at home, it's, I would say it's definitely a better advantage because who knows what could happen on that. I mean, that could, you know what I mean? So, because of the inspection or, anything else. So, just as far as contingencies are concerned, that's another thing. So it's not always price. If someone offered another $5,000, but you're living at home and their house is up for sale, it might not even sell. I mean, I personally, if I was the seller, I would take a $5,000 less to not have to deal with, is that person's house actually going to sell, or is it going to fall apart at the inspection? Is it going to make it to the closing table? Who knows? So, it's not always price too. I think a big part of it is price, but contingencies can be the difference. It was the difference on the one I just bought, and I would say it's important.
Yeah, so Matt was really kind of just saying contingencies mean a lot. The price, are you doing a home inspection? And what Matt was saying is, do you have a house you need to sell in order to buy mine? A lot of people making that move up purchase, like, are living in a house. They have to sell it in order to buy that one. So in their offer, they write, subject to me selling my house to buy your house. Man, imagine if you accept that offer and the person has a hard time selling their home. you're contingent on that. So, those are a bunch of different things, proving the point that it's not always purchase price that the seller is accepting an offer based off of. There's a bunch of different other things that come into play, whether it's financing stuff. Would you want to accept an offer on a buyer putting no money down, or a buyer putting 80% down? 80% down, I can close in 2 weeks, or I'm putting no money down, it's going to take me 3 months to close. There's just a bunch of different moving parts when it comes to placing an offer. And on our end, we want the offer to get accepted. So we're going to do all we can to help you get your offer accepted, giving you ideas, tools, nothing you have to do, just all tools. We're just giving you everything, all the tools and tricks up our sleeve, and you can use what you want to get your offer accepted. Home inspection, no home inspection, maybe tweaking the home inspection, deposit, all these different things we can do to try and get your offer accepted. Market is competitive, but offers are getting accepted left and right with the team, though. So your offers are getting accepted. It's just very competitive out there. I'm expecting a really busy, strong start of the year. So everyone out there watching, if you are in the market looking to buy, you have to be ready. You have to be able to take a little risk, getting creative with your offer, not getting cold feet, because sellers are seeing right through that. They have all the leverage right now. I don't know what the media is saying. I'm not watching it. All I know is I'm in the market every day with Matt, and what we're seeing is it's a seller's market still. So do you have anything to add, Matt, before we wrap up?
No, I think that's about it. How's the multifamily going? Did you collect your rent first? Collect your first rent check?
I did collect my first
cash?
Rent check. It's not the rent increase yet, which is totally fine. I have such a good relationship with this tenant. I'm actually putting in 2 new heating systems this weekend. Okay, it's time. So
you're getting a good price on those too, right?
Yeah, I'm getting a great price on it. And now just food for thought. I mean, from a landlord point of view, I can go really efficient, spend money, make their monthly gas bills all cheaper, be super efficient, insulate it, keep it warmer for them. The only one reaping that benefit is the tenant. Yeah. They're saving on the gas bill if I do all that. So, I mean, it might help 0.1% for resale value, but if I'm going super efficient and I'm getting insulation, I'm spending top dollar to make sure the home's is efficient and insulated, it's going to save their gas bill, but I won't see the saving. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, you're not going to, it's a tough, I mean, obviously you're going to give them sufficient heat, good systems and all that, but yeah, when you talk about spending top dollar, I mean, I hate to say it, but it's going to be on my own home. It's going to be the one I'm living in. I mean, it might sound selfish to some people, but I mean, what the heck, you're supplying the heat, good systems, top efficient, you're trying to get a return. I mean, the whole idea of investing in real estate is you want to get a return on your money, and if you're just doing top dollar everything, I mean, you're not going to. So, I mean, I definitely agree. I wouldn't do it unless it was my own home.
Yeah, but like Matt said, I do have a solid plumber connect. If anyone needs a plumber, reach out. He's going to hook it up. They're going to get good heat coming off from oil. They're going to be connected to gas now. Man, these tenants through this past weekend of cold weather, they struggled through it. They had heat, but I definitely was heard about the heat. They might have lost for an hour or so. So I don't want that headache anymore for myself or them. New heat going in this weekend.
That's awesome.
But yeah, again, next week we'll have these up and running again. This is the second time this happened to us. It's not going to happen a third time. Again, anyone else that ever wants to join the podcast, feel free to comment or message below. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, and if you guys want to, maybe we'll do a tour next week. I'm getting ready to rent out the other unit in Pawtucket. Maybe we can do a tour through. I don't know. Maybe people want to see that.
Yeah, so that'd be cool. Maybe next week I'll go through as if I was bringing a client, and I'll point out things that I see with the property. I'm sure your unit's nice, but I'm sure it's not perfect.
Yeah, nothing's perfect. Yeah. Nothing's perfect. It's livable, though.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Again, please comment or like this video or subscribe. We're almost going on half a year here, putting time and energy into this. We want to know if it's helping you, and the only way we know is if you react. So please react, subscribe. Thanks for watching, everyone.